story. And originally I had the order for the area of Laurel Canyon Boulevard on the west, Mulholland Drive on the north, the 101 freeway on the west, Hollywood Boulevard on the south, and I understand now even the Walk of Fame. Is that correct, Marla and Alex? Can you add the two additional
yes, indeed.
spots that have been
the
evacuated?
Walk of Fame, the Dolby
Theater,
Theater, all that Hollywood and Highland corridor. Yes.
Yeah, so this is a very big fire, and it is threatening this entire area. Runyon Canyon, as these two gentlemen were talking about, that is a very popular place to hike. It is beautiful. You go up there, you get a view of the entire city. All of it right now. This is not a good sight.
Do you see a lot of LAPD officers? We're just getting word from the mayor of LA, of course, Karen Bash. She just tweeted moments ago that they're deploying LAPD officers to respond to the Hollywood area to help alleviate evacuation traffic.
Yes, we did see LAPD officers trying to, do traffic control. But take a look around. Joab, you can show there are a lot of folks who are just sort of standing around watching this from where we are. And there are families in their cars, and they really don't want to leave, because understandably they're concerned about, here you go.
I'm so sorry. Thank you.
You're welcome. They're concerned about leaving their apartments, their homes, but as the firefighters always say, just listen to the evacuation orders, pack up and leave, take whatever you can, but your life is more important than property, and that's always the good advice. As you know, in Altadena, the Eden fire, sadly, 5 people lost their lives, civilians. It is very possible that those folks were at home, decided to stay in the area when the orders were issued. We don't know at this time, but that's a possibility, and that's what was addressed during a press conference.
All right, Gina, we appreciate it so much. So this is a live picture from Gina Silva there on the ground in the Hollywood Hills covering the Sunset Fire. This is the newest fire on this Wednesday to break out. About 4 to 5 fires are active in our area in LA County, which is absolutely stunning, completely heartbreaking to see the devastation, whether you're in the Pacific Palisades or in Altadena, the Pasadena area, or in Sylmar. The list on, and unfortunately, it is growing tonight.
It is indeed, and we see those really nice cars, a reminder of some of the affluence of this particular neighborhood as well. So look at this. We take this picture full, some Skyfox. This is the process of a filling up for a water drop. So we see right there the plane or helicopter, hard to tell because it's pretty dark, getting the water there, and then is going to move towards the fire. So this is the good news, because we didn't have this last night, and we really needed it last night. And it is allowing them to make some progress on the Hollywood fire, the Sunset Fire. We do see it burning, but we don't see like what we saw last night, which just things just exploded, completely out of control. It looks like they are making some progress on this thing, and hopefully we are going to see this thing put out before any structures are burned. This is a very different picture than what we saw last night, and is good to see, frankly, that the picture is a lot better than it was an hour ago.
We are awaiting to get a couple of interviews on our air, just so you know. LAFD Chief Kristen Crowley will be joining us soon, live on the air, alongside LA City Councilwoman Nithya Raman. She will be joining the LAFD chief. So we'll get the latest from them, because Nithya represents this area.
Right.
Which is why she's going to be joining us.
District.
So we look forward to that. We've also extended an invitation to LA Mayor Karen Bass to join us. We heard her remarks for the first time in the 5 o'clock hour since returning from Ghana. We've extended that invitation for her to come on live on the air so that we can get the latest from her and her response to the city. We have not heard back yet.
And we've also extended an invite to Governor Newsom to join us at any time as well, hoping to have him do some local interviews. I know he popped up on CNN. It'd be great to have him do some local interviews as well. So we are looking now on the Sunset Fire, but we are following multiple fires, including Altadena, and the fire there continues to burn out of control. Laura Diaz is on the ground in Altadena. Laura, are you seeing any progress?
You know, I think actually at this point, Alex and Marla, they're put into a situation where they have to see if they're able to go in and actually be able to accomplish anything. A lack of water has been a major problem. If you look over my shoulder, this looks to have been a multiple family unit, and you can see that we've got the fire department here on the scene. Most of them are from LA County Fire, but when I asked them a little bit earlier, of course, they're getting help from people all over the state, people coming in to help out from those various fire departments. But this creates a very delicate situation because you don't want it to leap to the structure right next door. And when they're in close proximity like this, of course, that becomes problematic. But right now, they're pretty much standing on the sidewalk watching of what looks to be a total loss, at least of part of that structure, the whole idea for it not to spread over and encompass the unit next to it. But I say the good news at this hour, there doesn't even seem to be even a whisper of a wind. It's quite still. Every once in a while, we'll hear the crackle of the fire and you'll see the embers going up into the night sky, but it's actually eerily quiet at the moment, which is much better than listening to those howling winds that can send this fire just, hopping to one structure to the next and can be so catastrophic. But right now, everyone just hoping that at some point they can get a handle on these fires because we're being attacked virtually from every side. And I know that you're seeing that from the studio. And from this perch where I am right now, we're seeing it in this community of Altadena, where we know that some 11,000 acres have already been consumed, 5 deaths reported. But of course, we really don't know the total count of anything because we're still in the throes of it. Laura Diaz reporting live from Altadena, sending it back to the studio.
Laura, what are you seeing in terms of people? Are people out? Have people evacuated? Are people staying behind? What have you seen?
Well, when we talked to you at the beginning, over an hour and a half ago now, there was one woman who had evacuated overnight, and a couple of her neighbors lost their home. She came back today and she said that her home was still standing. She was obviously very empathetic for her neighbors who've lost their home. Some people are choosing to come back, and others are being more cautious and choosing to stay in a hotel, or as the woman who we talked to earlier said, she spent the night near her business, which is not far from here. But I think that there is that sense where people want to come back and see it with their own eyes, right? So unless they're being told that they can't come into the area, they're trying to come back and check on their homes and just praying and hoping for the best.
Well, you understand that and how anxious it is for a lot of people who are not being allowed back in their neighborhoods, especially in Pacific Palisades, who just don't know if their home is okay or not. And it's hard to tell. Some people have Ring cameras, but if the power goes out, some of those Ring cameras don't work. And so they just don't know. Laura Diaz, thank you for your continued reporting out there. We will continue to check back with you throughout the night as we are about to enter what would usually be our primetime programming here on Fox tonight. We are preempting that primetime programming so that we continue to bring you our live commercial-free coverage both on Fox 11, on Fox 11 Plus, which is channel 13, and on our Fox local app and our Fox LA app, foxla.com/live. All those places are places where you can watch us as we now follow multiple fires that are all burning at the same time. We're talking about the Sunset Fire, the Palisades Fire, the Eaton Fire, the Hearst Fire, all things that we are focused on. So as we approach the top of the hour, we're going to do a bit of a reset, and we'll be joined in a moment by LA City Councilwoman Nitya Raman. But first, here's a look at the latest of what's happening right now.
There is a fire and there is nothing being done.
It's terrifying. There's no water north of Woodbury.
everything in this neighborhood. Altadena is not existing right now.
We want to officially welcome you now that it has turned 8 o'clock, struck 8 o'clock, to the Fox 11 News and our extended coverage. I'm Marla Tejas alongside Alex Michelson. Our coverage, commercial free, will continue tonight. The latest fire we're watching is what Sky Fox is over. This is the Sunset Fire in Hollywood Hills. This is in the district of LA City Council member Nithya Raman, and she joins us now. Right there she is, not on the phone, but on Zoom. We thank you so much for being with us tonight. What is the latest as it relates to the firefight in the Hollywood Hills? What do you know at this point?
So this has been called the Sunset Fire. Started off at when we identified it at 10 acres, but has changed a little bit. We'll get more information about the size shortly. We have an evacuation order in place for this area. And I want everyone to be very clear that if you live in this evacuation area, now is the time to leave. The border of that evacuation area is Laurel Canyon to the west, the Mulholland Drive to the north, 101 Freeway to the east, and Hollywood Boulevard to the south. In that periphery is our evacuation zone, and we want every person who is impacted in that area to evacuate from the area as soon as possible. We have firefighters already out there. We have air support out there. We also have a number of police department officials who are helping to guide traffic in and out of these areas. And we want everyone who lives in those areas to take this advice seriously and to evacuate immediately. For those who need a place to go to, the city has set up an evacuation shelter at the Pan Pacific Park Gymnasium. It's a city facility that is at 7600 Beverly Boulevard. That once again, that's the Pan Pacific Park Gymnasium at 7600 Beverly Boulevard. If you are evacuating and you need a place to go, that is the place to go. And I just want to remind everyone who is in that area or who is watching the fire from just outside that area, stay calm, follow orders, stay updated on the lafd.org/alerts website or by downloading the Watch Duty app.
Council member, in the last hour or so, it certainly appears from our shot from Sky Fox that some of these air drops, water drops, have been really effective. I mean, have you started to see or hear about real progress in fighting this fire?
So one of the challenges with this fire is the location and the fact that the winds and the movement of the fire has been moving downhill. That being said, I think we are cautiously optimistic that the wind conditions that are out there, which are far less than what we were facing over the last 24-hour period, are going to enable, first of all, enable us to have air support in place, which we couldn't have over the past 24-hour period for much of it. And also enable us to be able to actually put real resources to addressing these flames and pushing them back as much as possible. So, I think I am nowhere near feeling optimistic, but I am at least grateful for the fact that the winds are nowhere near what they were and that we have air support already in place, dropping immense amounts of water on that fire already.
How do you feel about the number of resources that are available to tackle it, given, of course, that there's the Palisades fire and the Eaton fire as well? I'm seeing that the Beverly Hills Fire Department is now monitoring the Sunset Fire. I'm also hearing that the command post for the Sunset Fire is already requesting more strike teams, I think about 10 more engines. Which, leads you to believe that they are strapped and they need help.
Well, I'm not sure how best to describe it. I would say that what I've seen, I'm at the Emergency Operations Center